Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
This episode is brought to you by Intuit TurboTax. Didn't file with TurboTax last year? That's in the past. Now, Taxes is getting the TurboTax app and filing your own taxes for free if you didn't file with them last year. File by February 18th. All tax forms, all 100% free. Now, this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. New filers and filers who didn't use TurboTax last year only must start and file your own taxes in-app by February 18th. Excludes TurboTax Live. Full terms at TurboTax.com.
Hey, Chicago. What do you say? Cubs gonna win today.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Pointless Exercise Podcast. It's time for the Cubs podcast with Praz and Oleg. Guys, how are you? Oleg's waving again.
Andy.
Thank you. It's great.
Good to see you after a brief hiatus. Shout out to Mike Donahue for taking over for me 2 weeks ago. Appreciate it.
He's probably still talking.
Exactly.
And another thing, it's like, Mike, that podcast has been 8 days we've been off. What? So we are here to talk all about the scintillating come-from-behind win on Tuesday night. The Cubs over that juggernaut White Sox team. The White Sox are 15-46 as we record this, and that's not good.
It's not good.
It's not good. But that wasn't the big news. The big news since last we record, big news in all of sports, is the return of Cubs all-time great David Bote.
It at least came with another all-time great being sent to Iowa and Nick Madrigal, too. So.
I want to say it was mixed emotions, but it wasn't. Madrigal is so bad, I was like, you know what, that's fine. If that's what it takes, bring him back. I don't care.
Yeah, our long national nightmare is over. That was exactly my reaction. I'm like, God, David Bote, but...
I heard all this stuff, it's funny, there are a lot of, people who over the last year or so would look at Bote's numbers at Iowa and be like, why isn't he on the team? Look at this guy's doing great in Iowa. It's like, okay, since he signed his 5-year, $15 million contract, his major league average 219 with 6 home runs. So let's not act like this was they were hiding their light under a bushel in Des Moines. He's bad. He's just bad, but somehow more useful than Nick Madrigal.
He did hit one of the most fun home runs in Cubs history, though.
Yeah, he has at least 2 epic.
Oh yeah, I guess it is
moments.
Yeah.
The game-winning walk-off grand slam
Yeah.
Down 3 with the base. It's amazing. That was just really cool.
That truly was.
And then in 2019, when it looks like the Cubs were, going to cruise to their the division championship, there was a game in August against the Diamondbacks with the great Brad Boxberger that the Cubs were down 2 going into the 9th, and Bote hit a 2-run homer to tie it, and then like 2 pitches later, Rizzo hit a home run to walk it off. And I was rewatching that because I put it in the newsletter, and Bote had just come back from Iowa that day for that.
Yeah.
I think I remember too, wasn't there some story that like he hit either a walk-off or a game-tying hit or home run? If it wasn't his walk-off, it led to a walk-off later that inning. That I think later that day, his wife gave birth to a baby, and like in an interview, he said something about how like it was Grand Slam baby because he celebrated it after hitting the Grand Slam against the Nationals.
Yeah, I was going to say that was against the Nationals, right?
Yeah.
It's very Rob Makoviak of him.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Did Makoviak
Did they name the baby Grand Slam? Is it Grand Slam Bote?
Yeah, right.
Yes, but he named it after the breakfast
at Denny's. Yeah,
Denny's. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the ironic thing. They'd already picked the name out.
Mm-hmm.
It's where he was. It's where the baby was conceived. At a Denny's in Des Moines.
The booth now has a plaque on it.
Yeah.
Don't let Blake Snell and his wife spell the name on the birth certificate. I don't know if you saw.
Oh my God.
She's got a fucked up name, and then their brand new baby does. And I tweeted at Susan Slusser of the San Francisco Chronicle. She tweeted out the congratulations. Yeah. I was like, not strong spellers. And she got mad at me, but she did. That's okay. Susan's cool. But
we piled on a little bit too.
She was in no mood for my hijinks, but that's fine. That's not the first time a woman has been repulsed by something that I said or wrote. She's in good company.
We can all relate to that.
Hey. Whoa.
But there's a tragic turn in this Nick Madrigal news. I don't know if you heard today. He left the game early today in Iowa. He's apparently injured.
Oh boy.
He had doubled, and then I think he got hit by a pitch, and he had to come out.
Did he get hit by the pitch with more force than he hit that wall in Milwaukee that injured him last year, though?
It was on 3 bounces, but it was still enough. Still enough to put him out. It rolled into him.
Yeah, looked like a bowling ball picking up a spare.
Do you think the Cubs just got him and Cade Horton mixed up? Like, wait, Cade Horton's going out for 4 weeks. No, wait, that was the match. Because Cade Horton's out for a little while, right?
Yeah, Cade's out too.
Yeah.
Well, here's the update from Alex Cohen. Nick Madrigal leaves his first game with the Iowa Cubs in the 4th inning after being hit by a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He was 1 for 1 with a walk and a double, an RBI double prior to that at bat. He was hot. They were about to bring him back.
He needs to stay in Iowa for the playoff run.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
The next several playoff runs.
Yeah.
Perhaps for those of you who thought that David Bote was deserving of a roster spot because of his numbers in Iowa, maybe there is some sort of correlation there when you see that Nick Madrigal in his first game back had a good day at the plate going 1 for 1 with a walk.
Oh, he's going to hit really well down there.
Last absolutely.
Year he hit over 400 when he was there for like a month. I mean, that's not, I know you guys know this, but that's not the point. The point is in the big leagues, he has no utility.
Right.
There's no reason to ever bring him back. Ever. He could hit 640 down there, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't translate to anything useful for the Cubs. I don't know if you saw or heard Craig Counsell's comments about it when he basically got asked the question, what does Nick need to work on down at Iowa so he can come back? And Counsell was like, well, he was very nice. It was funny to hear this say, well, he has a very unique skill set. He's a guy who makes a lot of contact, but everything he does is based on his batting average. And he needs to be able to contribute other than just hitting singles. There's very little slug. He doesn't get on base. He doesn't walk a lot. That's what he needs to work on. In other words, I can tell you what he needs to work on. He can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like you can give him a list. Here's your chore list, Nick, and he can't check any of the boxes. So have fun.
That's like if my company sends me somewhere else and they check off like ballroom dancing. I can't do it.
What are you, forklift?
I don't know what Dan says, right? You don't. Right, Dan says. Nope.
Bote got to start his very first game.
Bote did, yeah. I mean, first day up.
They were facing a lefty.
Yeah, first day up, right?
Yes, and he hasn't played since, which is fine with me. I guess he did come in for defense.
Right, came in for defense, which much prefer him in for defense for Morel than Madrigal. Do you remember, like, when David Bote was a semi-regular at the major league level, he was a pretty good fielder.
Why do it? Why? If you're going to do that anyway, why don't you just put Morel at DH and just let him hit?
Well, yeah, because the biggest problem you end up with then, and it's happened to them on numerous occasions, is if you're up 3 runs, it's no big deal. Right. Of course, if you're up 3 runs, do you really need to make a defensive switch at third base with an inning to go? True. But if you're tied or you're only up a run, you just take in his bat out of your lineup if you need it again. And it happened to them. Now you'll have David Bote batting cleanup, which is better than Madrigal, but we're not making – this is incremental improvement and a team that needs significantly more than that.
It was pretty hilarious to me that they wound up doing it that last game in Milwaukee right after Christopher Morel had just tied the game with a home run. And then the inning they put Nick Madrigal into the game defensively where he would wind up be hitting, had the game stayed tied, his bat would have come up again as the number 4 hitter. But luckily, that wasn't exactly a problem because the Cubs wound up allowing the Brewers to retake the lead again. So, brilliant strategy there.
Was that the game where he's the one who made the error? That was the first game, right?
No, that was the first game. Because it was a no-score game going into the 8th at that time. That error did lead to the Brewers scoring their first run.
He had quite a week in his final week in the big leagues where he came in for defense and made a crucial error that cost him a game, and then couldn't score from first on a double to left.
Oh, God, yeah, that's right.
Got thrown out. I know Ellie De La Cruz has a ridiculous arm.
Yeah.
But there's Willie Harris who just decides he's going to wear it, right? It's my fault. I shouldn't have sent him, blah, blah, blah. But you should score from first on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Marquis showed then that for no reason he's paused between first and second. And then if he's ever on another team, I can enjoy how he runs. He does this really weird thing where he leans way back when he runs. Have you noticed this?
Yes.
I would have never thought anything about it, except one of the colleges I worked at. I was doing something in the field house, and one of the kinesiology professors was literally showing the baseball team how to run to first base. These are college baseball players. They'd never been taught, you just run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was really interested in the things he was telling them. And one of the things he told them, 2 things that if the Cubs do not do, is he said, pick a spot. The minute you make contact, you start for first, pick a spot 20 feet in front of you and keep your eyes on that spot and keep moving it forward because that will keep your head still. Now you can still see out of your periphery if the throw is bad or whatever, you'll know, but that'll keep your head still and you will run far more efficiently than if your head is just bouncing all over, if you're looking around for the ball or whatever. And I was thought of that. The other thing he says, the biggest mistake base runners make, and the Cubs, everybody does, the Cubs do it a lot. I noticed just in one game, Nico did it, and I think maybe Dansby did it. And he said, when there's a close play at first, your impulse will be to lunge for the bag.
Right.
He said, don't. Continue to run through the bag.
Okay.
And he said, the other thing is, no matter if you lunge or you run, do not try to stop as quickly as you can after you get past first base.
Oh, yeah.
And the Cubs all do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like they think they get bonus points if they can come to a screeching halt within 2 steps of first base. And he's like, you're just going to slow yourself down.
Before you get to first base.
Right. When you don't
you start to, because even if you think, I hit the bag and then I slow down, you've literally started slowing down before you've even reached the bag.
What do you say about diving?
That didn't come up, but I was waiting for Bob Brenly to throw the door to the field house open. Comes storming in. Don't dive for first. You have to slow down to dive. You don't see. I remember that his whole thing was you don't see 100-meter runners dive at the finish.
Yeah.
And then in an Olympic qualifying, a runner dove for the finish and
Is
made
that
it
right?
and qualified. Yeah.
Dude, you got to tell that to Donahue.
Does he do the same thing? You can't.
Him,
he
no,
can't
no,
dive.
him and
Well, I
I
don't know that it was smart, but the whole idea was you'd never see anybody do it. I've
Wait.
literally seen a guy do it.
Well, the reason why they don't do it in the 100 meters is because you got to run through the tape that's up high. It's not a base on the ground, and you're also running on asphalt.
Yes,
or
and it
whatever
will.
it is.
Yeah, and it'll hurt like a son of a bitch when you hit the ground. Yes, that's why you don't do it.
And it's not like you're right. You shouldn't slide into first base, but they don't slide. They dive into first base, which I still maintain might be just as fast.
Well, the one thing that you would maybe do it for is just to avoid a tag if the throw is off. If like the first baseman can't stay on the base, and
yeah, obviously that's for sure. But I don't know how to prove it, but I kind of have a feeling that it's at least as fast, if not faster, to like when you're within 2 feet to just dive at the base, not slide into the base, obviously.
Right. Because if you're diving, your momentum is still going.
Yeah.
Because when you go to slide, you have to lean back. You have to slow down to slide.
Yeah.
But when you dive, you're still propelling yourself forward.
Yeah.
I guess the difference is it's how far you're diving, right?
Right. Well,
if you try to dive the last 6 feet, gravity is you're now slowing down.
Right.
Correct.
But like within a couple steps.
Yeah. I mean, I had heard this reference before when talking with other people about how Nick Madrigal runs. A friend of mine brought this up, that he reminded him of like Fred Flintstone in his car, like when he's first getting started up. Just like,
well, I wish I could
kind of running.
I know I didn't.
First.
I know I didn't dream this, but I read somewhere. I thought it was on The Athletic. I thought it was in like a Keith Law article where they were talking about, it was whoever it was talking about a prospect and his foot speed, and in there was like a passing thing to don't believe the baseball savant mile per hour, the running speed metric, because they know there's a flaw in it, in which is guys with shorter legs score higher because it's something about it only captures a certain part of the baseline. It like shoots at part of the first base baseline.
Okay.
And it gets confused when there's extra steps. Like it thinks you're going faster. And obviously if you're Chris Bryant, you make like one step through that thing. Where if you're Nick Madrigal, you make like 11. Chop. Like you're running the tires to first base.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Now, I don't know. I wish I could find it because all I did was that confirmed my bias that he was not only a bad base runner, but that he was not fast.
Yeah.
On Bernstein and Holmes the other day, Lawrence read, or somebody that they were reading, somebody had dug up Nick Madrigal's scouting report from like when he was drafted, and they were laughing at it because it was all the shit we know isn't true. It said like savvy base runner with the ability to steal like 30 plus bases, Gold Glove caliber, great actions at second base, will likely evolve into a Gold Glove caliber field. They're literally laughing at all this shit. Like the power will come because of his quick swing or whatever it was. It's like, all right.
Hey, not to change the subject, but have you gotten a chance to send Ian Happ your apology letter?
I'm going to deliver it in person.
Okay.
I'm going to go to his little coffee place and hang out and wait for him to show up.
And then he'll hand you a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Hey, you've been pretty good for 4 days.
Yeah.
I guess I was wrong about you.
Yeah.
Now that brings, that's the myth, right? Of the fact that players we don't necessarily like, we root against their success. Well, we don't, because they're Cubs, and we need the Cubs to win. And if, like the other, last night, the Cubs, Ian Happ needed to hit needed a big hit for the Cubs to win. He got it. I wasn't sitting there going, "Oh, fuck you! We wish we'd have lost." No, that is not a thing. I will say this though, there are certain players, and I don't think because he's paid, it's not even worth it. But Madrigal, like if it was a spot where him failing was not going to hurt the Cubs, I wanted him to fail because I wanted them to get rid of him. I wanted him to move on from it. But if it was a spot where he had to come through or the Cubs were screwed, then I just have to like, okay, buddy.
Yeah.
You're a big picture guy.
I am.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
But not David Bote. I hope David Bote falls down the dugout steps and breaks his shoulder again.
I just want you to know
that.
Steps on a baseball.
I was going to say, what did he do in 2021?
Still the greatest injury of all time.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Jose Cardinal had the eyebrow or the eyelid thing. Yeah. Sammy Sosa hurt his back sneezing.
Yeah.
So,
actually, I still think it's not like I didn't like Ricky Gutierrez, but I still think the funniest injury ever was he pulled a hamstring running to first, fell down, and separated his shoulder.
Oh my god.
He couldn't catch himself because his leg hurt so bad, and he landed right on his shoulder, and he was on the DL with both. Pulled a torn hamstring and a separated shoulder.
That's a top
because I'm sure Donahue and I have run through them all. Glenn Allen Hill having the nightmare about the spiders and crashing through the glass coffee table at his hotel room at Skydome. Yeah. That's why they call him Spider-Man. One of the great nicknames of all time. Spider-Man. It was like, that's a cool nickname, and he's like, fuck off.
That's awesome. Oh god, that's awesome.
There were other do you remember Chris Brown? Not the punchy singer guy,
but Padres and Phillies third baseman.
He had some ridiculous injury.
I
don't
heard
remember him now.
He slept on his eyelid wrong and wound up going on the injured list or disabled list at the time. But yes.
But the Bote, and I thought, because I'm an idiot, I thought that was the last time we'd seen him in the big leagues, was him stepping on the baseball and falling down.
Oh, but
that was 21, and he was up for a while in 22.
Right.
And thankfully, he's back to lead the pennant charge.
For sure. The only time I ever truly had wanted him back at all last year was just during the time when they had called up Alexander Canario and then weren't playing him. It's like, if he's up here and he's not going to play, you might as well just have David Bote up to do the same thing if you really want to expand the rosters that bad, because at least sometimes they'll give you an upgrade at third base if you really need it.
An upgrade to what?
Defensively, maybe.
There was a thing, I think Ken Rosenthal was writing today about the terrible Cub infield defense and how much worse it is than last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, basically, obviously, a big part of his morale. He's literally in the first percentile. He's the worst fielding defensive third baseman. But the thing that I unearthed when I went to Baseball Savant was that Nick Madrigal, his defensive replacement, was in the second percentile. He was terrible in his few innings of filling in for Morel. But they're talking about how Dansby was the highest rated shortstop. He's completely average right now. Yeah. Nico has he's surged lately. He's starting to get into the positive. So they were going to blame basically Rosenthal was blaming it all on Michael Busch. I mean, and I was like, well, he has kind of hands of stone over there, but they had Trey Mancini over there last year. So it's not like they had, in his prime Anthony Rizzo at first last year,
exactly,
saving all these throws. You can't really blame Michael Busch for this. There's no way he's worse than Trey was.
Michael Busch has not done anything as egregiously bad as Trey Mancini did in that London game with Stroman pitching.
Oh God, that turned the season around.
Kind
in a bad way. Yeah.
Well, they had done that weird. They were hot as hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went
just
and they won the first game, right?
Yeah,
and then they were going to win this again. Staked Stroman to a big lead in the second game. They were going to win it, and they blew it. And they went right in the crapper.
Yep.
And that led to him getting released. He got benched for a while. Then they finally let him go. I guess he didn't get released until the trade deadline.
Yeah. I think
he went when Jamer showed up.
Yeah.
But then they got hot again.
Yeah, they were all right for a little
before
bit.
The collapse at the end.
And then in September they collapsed. I will say I was super excited. Like yesterday when that so finally, at least I get to watch the games, right? I don't have marquee, so at least I get to listen to this play-by-play White Sox guy. So
God.
I got really excited because I thought for sure that was going to be a triple play, that ball that Burrell booted yesterday. It was right on the way to being a triple play. It would have been so much fun.
Maybe,
he was trying to field it, step on the bag, and throw to first.
Oh, is that you think? Or
I think.
I thought he was going to go to second.
I think he thought he was going to do it all in one fluid motion, and instead
for sure. I just thought it was
he had made in the crazy long rainout game against the Reds. He did make an error where it was, I think, first and second. He stepped on third and tried to go to second for the double play, and the throw went into the outfield. I think after that, Craig probably had said something to him, saying like, "Okay, on that type of play, Chris, just go to first."
Maybe you're right.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, how about this? Step on third, and then give the ball to Dansby.
Yeah, that too.
Just hand it to him. Work. Let him figure it out after that.
Awesome. Like some of those old, I don't remember who it was, like the plays in the outfield, somebody used to make, like, dive for the ball and then throw it to the other outfielder to take the throw in. Was that in my head?
No.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see it like a second baseman will like range and with nobody on first and flip to the shortstop to make the throw because his momentum's going the wrong way.
Colton Wong, I feel like, used to do that once in a while. When it was Wong and DeJong, and they were
patented Wong move.
Yeah.
They call it the Wong.
Oleg, you'll appreciate this, but I'm pretty sure there was a time in like 2010 or 2011 when they were when the Cubs were really trying to trade like Blake DeWitt, and they were playing him in left field, and he slid to field a ball as a left fielder, and then just kind of flipped it to, I don't know, it would have been Tony Campana or whoever was playing center field at the time to get it back in.
There's no way Tony's gonna get it back in.
Dude, I have a GIF of Blake DeWitt in left field going after a ball and then like losing his balance, slipping, and kicking the ball further away.
Oh, man.
Honest to God, yeah.
Jeez.
I think, now I'm going to be proven wrong by somebody, but I know I saw Blake DeWitt's name in a weird spot, and I think what it was the other day I was creating a player in MLB The Show, and I think they have like, if you want, when you're creating a player, you can pick batting stance for him or pitching motion, and they have former players, and they're usually like, Ken Griffey Jr., Chipper Jones, whatever. I think you can pick Blake DeWitt.
Wow. Does anybody
really
do that?
Random?
Blake probably, when he's making himself.
Blake's mother.
I'm gonna be an MVP this time. Blake, pick somebody else. Don't pick your own stance. I could be completely wrong. I know I saw it in a weird spot. And I remember laughing, because what I remember about that was I made Bruce Miles believe that Blake DeWitt's mom was Joyce DeWitt from Three's Company.
Yep.
He was so excited to get that factoid. It's a good thing he checked, because I think he would have just put it in the Daily Herald.
Right. I think it's different spelling with her name too.
The journalistic integrity of the Herald, that would have been besmirched. How did you not fact check Joyce DeWitt's kids?
Then you could have had multiple Daily Herald writers hating you at that time.
Yeah.
Who was the other?
Rosner really turned on me.
Oh, he turned on you?
Yeah.
Are you saying he liked you at one point?
He did. He would steal my jokes and put them in his stupid little column and give me credit. And he got mad at me because he really started to phone it in. I mean, I wrote a column which was how to make your own Barry Rosner column, and it was you pick from these categories, and one of them was like retell the story of Ben Christensen hitting Anthony Molina in the on deck circle. Check with former Cub trainer John Fierro to comment on any injury, because he would do that even after Fierro was gone. Dig through your emails and find something from Sanjay H., the best baseball general manager not in baseball. I mean, and then the thing I think that really pissed him off was, and then use a couple of hilarious Alex Caseberg jokes, because that's where we found Caseberg to make fun of him. Was he was sending jokes to Rosner, and Rosner was running them.
Yep.
Barry read it and got pissed at me, and that was the end of it. It was.
Do you think that Sanjay and Alex Casberg, whatever? Do you think they're the same person?
Same guy.
Possibly.
I don't know. Did Sanjay ever sue Conan O'Brien?
What?
Caseberg sued Conan, claimed he stole one of his bits.
I think I just rolled my eyes loud enough that
it registered on the mic.
I just remember.
Heard the squish.
I remember the hilarious thing. Gordo, my son reads this column.
That's right. 108 reasons why Gordon Wittenberg is a douche. What he didn't like wasn't so much the article. It was the fact that I took a Massengill douche box and replaced the woman's head on it with his. Actually, one of the funniest things was when I was giving Cap a bunch of shit, and his way of, before we became best friends, his way of, in fact, I owe him a phone call. He called me out of nowhere the other day just to chat.
Okay.
And I was busy, and I didn't see it. But anyway, he had Gittles and Brat and I on his old Sports Central show on WGN. Yeah. We went down and we went to the Billy Goat and had a few schlitzes, and then wandered over and did 2 hours of radio at WGN. And remember, he used to be even more orange than he is now. Getting a lot of sun. And I don't even remember. There was like a banner on Discipio where if you clicked on it, it would bring up this like collage of pumpkins that looked like I had made Kaplan look like jack-o'-lanterns all over it. And I had long forgotten about it. But where Brat and I were sitting, we could see Cap's computer. And while he's talking to us, we're having a nice chat and everything's going fine. He starts to click on the banner, and Brat like elbows me like, uh-oh, because he knew what was there. And he clicked on it, and it pops up, and he just looks at it, and he just clicks off, and he just kept talking like he didn't see it. We were laughing. We're like under the table, trying not to laugh on the mic.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
Cap's a good sport. I actually saw him not too long ago at some promo thing he was doing at.
Were you guys doing cryo? Were you in the tank?
Yes. And then we recorded a mini shower podcast together, too.
Thank God once the recap got a sponsor, they insisted that he be clothed.
Yes.
For it. He did so many of those. I have a picture of him that I use occasionally of him. He's in it. You only see it from the chest up. He's in the shower and his head is lathered up to shave it. Mm-hmm. And he's recording a video talking about Chicago sports.
Yeah, why? Like, why?
I don't know. He did that for a while. He thought that was hilarious. That he was still in the shower recording himself talking about the Bulls.
Wasn't there, Praz, you may know, wasn't there some Portnoy thing where he like walked in on one of his employees taking a shower? It was a dude.
Oh, like, Barstool, yeah.
Or he yelled at him or something.
Yes, that is right. And I think like there were a couple other office members there too, but that's that company for you.
I mean, whatever. I'm not started like it's a big whatever, but I just remember that was kind of.
Well, Cap just walks in on himself, so no harm.
Right. Yeah,
no harm done.
Or they walked in on Cap.
Now, neither one of you get Marquee, right?
I do now.
Present. But do you get it through cable or you buy the app? You pay for it month to month.
Technically cable. Me and a buddy,
right,
we went
don't
in.
Don't rat yourself out. Let's just say you get it via cable.
By cable. Okay.
We don't need to get into the details and have Crane show up at your house with an invoice. So, big news last week with the Cubs and Marquee is that this is just amazing that this is going to happen to them. Their carriage deal with Comcast is going to expire sometime in September.
Oh, really?
Who negotiates a deal that ends during your season?
Right.
That's what they've got. And Crane is already worried about it.
Well, I would be too.
They're currently on the regular tier. There's like a tier you can get from Comcast that has like 30 channels on it.
But it has like every out-of-market sports channel on there. Yeah.
But there's the most popular ones they have. Marquee just comes with it on both of them. You don't have to pay extra. You get Marquee. And the way it works is Marquee gets paid by Comcast for every household that gets Marquee, whether you ever watch it or not. You get a check.
Sure.
They get a check every month. It probably is a check. Crane probably goes down and actually gets a check. They handwrite one. takes it down to the bank.
Where they have the stamp on there, like the thing you crank to get the amount on there. Yeah.
So the issue is that Comcast, their carriage deal for a bunch of the Bally Sports RSNs expired on May 1st. Another genius negotiating.
Yeah.
Hey, during the season, why not? And they told all those, they said, we'll still carry you, but you're going on the sports and entertainment package, which costs $10, but you have to add it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we don't want that. You got to put us on the regular one. Now, the reason I want to be in the regular one is obviously a lot fewer people get the sports and entertainment package than just get, everybody gets a regular package, and then other people, dopes like me, pay $10 to add the sports and entertainment thing because it's got I do that because I get Red Zone and other stuff. And so the Bally RSNs, which are part of Diamond Sports Group, which is part of Sinclair, are in the middle of bankruptcy, and they want desperately to get put back on that regular tier because it's literally part of their plan to get solvent again that they have to show the judge. And Comcast is like, fuck off. We'll add you to this other one. Any fan who wants you can still see you, but the ones who don't want don't have to get you. And Crane seems to be self-aware enough now to realize that's what they're going to want to do to Marquee. They're going to want to put him on that other package.
So wait, I have a question before you finish this story. So how does that work? If you get on that other tier, then Comcast pays you less, but still the $6 a month, or how?
Well, they'll still negotiate it.
Okay,
I see.
But the difference, even if they get the same amount, even if they get a slight bump, say I think they're getting $4.99 a month for every subscriber on Comcast. Say they get $5.99 instead. Look at this.
Fewer users.
They're going to get a lot less money because they're only going to get the people who pay the extra $10 a month to get that package.
Yes. No, I get
so
that.
They're very concerned about that.
Sorry, go on.
The one thing that is less distressing for Cub fans than normally would be is that doesn't mean you can't watch. If you're a Comcast subscriber, it doesn't mean you can't watch the Cubs because you can just pay the Cubs directly and get the Marquee Sports app, and you could just watch for the low price of $19.99 a month.
Right.
You'd be better off just adding it to your cable package for the whatever would be $10 a month extra.
Right, but the thing is that I think it's almost guaranteed that initially, if Comcast says no, you're going on the sports and entertainment package, the Cubs aren't going to agree to it.
Yeah,
I got.
So they're going to disappear from Comcast.
Okay.
So your only way of watching them is going to be to pay the Cubs. The ironic thing is the Cubs don't necessarily they would prefer you still get it from Comcast because Comcast has them on the good package.
Yeah.
Because they make a lot more money that way.
Yeah.
And so what it got me to think is the other thing is people want to know why does Marquee cost so much? Why are they charging $20 a month for this thing when there's only one thing to watch and it's the Cub games?
Well,
the reason for it
is if you're inclined.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reason for it is the over-the-top service, which is what they call Marquee, basically going over cable to just provide it directly. They set it at a price that wouldn't piss off, that they didn't think would piss Comcast off.
Yeah.
Right.
So if Comcast is having to pay them $4.99 a month for every subscriber, but then Marquee is like, hey, we'll sell this thing for $10 to everybody.
Yeah.
Comcast is like, well, screw you. You might as well get out of your business and you can just get the money directly from the people who really want it.
Exactly.
So they felt like the gap was big enough. And they're not the only ones to do this. Yes charges $30 a month for the Yankees and the Nets on theirs.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're $25, and then Nesson in Boston is $30, I think.
Yeah.
So Marquee's actually the lowest, and the reason we think they're the lowest is it's just them.
Yeah.
With Nesson, you get the Bruins and the Red Sox.
Yep.
With you get the Nets.
Yep.
But you get the Nets and you get the Yankees. The Cubs, who for the longest time it looked like we're going to bring the Blackhawks with them. Whatever they called their network.
Right. Yeah.
So they'd have winter programming. At some point, said, "No, we'll just keep all the money for ourselves. Why would we give any to the Blackhawks?"
But then people only subscribe for 6 months. Why would you subscribe for the whole year? Why wouldn't you just?
Well, that's what I'm getting to now. So so now, if you're the Cubs and say Comcast tells you to fuck off,
yeah,
don't you immediately lower the price your monthly price so that to get more people, right?
And you can get more people to stay through the off season too.
And I think the other option would be it's still $20 a month, but if you subscribe for the year,
then it's $120.
Yeah, or make it a lower price for the year, exactly.
But you'd still have to. But here's where unless they get rid of you could cancel whenever you want. They're going to have to go far lower than $120 a year.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, most fans, because Marquee doesn't have anything to watch on it,
right,
are like, I don't need it from October through March.
Yeah.
Right. So why would I pay you anything? I'll just pay the I'll just pay the $20 a month when I want it, and then I cancel it. And then if your little baseball team falls out of it in August, I'm not on the hook for that last month. I'm just going to cancel it. So I'll be really interested to see how, because the Cubs are so business savvy. I'm sure they won't screw this up.
Yeah.
Hey, Crane. I'm sure Crane's got an MBA. The other thing though is that how does it work? Like how? I don't know if you know the answer to this, but if baseball is really serious about getting rid of the blackout restrictions, how would they then pay Marquee out of their MLB TV?
The revenue sharing?
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, so
how would that work?
I'm sure everything can be renegotiated. My assumption, and I wrote about this too in the newsletter, because that would be that's to me is the preferred solution for the fan, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
I subscribe to MLB.TV. I still watch the Cubs with I can't miss Boog and JD, and I'm not going to watch the pregame or the postgame or the stupid Marquee documentaries or World Pickup Ball Championships or the VEASAN shit that they show during the day. So to me, this is perfect. I'm already going to buy MLB.TV. That's just how I'm going to watch the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
So every team gets a cut of like MLB.TV or MLB Extra Innings. They'll get a nice big fat check for that.
Sure.
So it's my assumption that unless they would have to completely like change the model where, and I'm sure they're going to push for this, where like the Cubs and the Yankees are like, we need more.
Yeah.
We got more people watching. We got a bigger fan base. We need a bigger cut than the freaking Pirates and the A's do. So I don't. My answer is I don't know. I would be worried if I were a small market team that when the blackouts go away, first it's great for you because more people could see you, but it's probably worse because your revenue check is probably going to go down because they need the big market teams to say they're willing to do it, or that they'll never get their package off the ground.
Like what's funny to me is that when the Cubs are on at night, I just turn on MLB TV Big Inning, and then you still see like the Cubs, you have 4 screens or whatever, but that's look and watch.
Yeah, if anything is actually happening in the game, you're going to see it.
Yeah,
right.
So it's not.
Yeah, for me, that's the only way not that I really care, but that's the only way I ever see the Brewers or the Cardinals.
Yeah,
because they're blacked out here.
Oh, is that right?
So thankfully, I never have to hear Chip.
Oh God,
if I don't.
But, what would you do without hearing that?
Not even accidentally. I don't have to hear him.
What are you doing with yourself not being able to hear that Chip Carey, Joe Buck call that the Cardinals were hyping up so much?
I think God showed you how much he wanted to hear that. He rained that game out.
Right.
It's like, no, nobody needs to hear this shit. Go away. So I don't. It'll be interesting. It's. I would hope if you're the Cubs, you could at least negotiate an extra month on the current deal so that you finish the season. But the Cubs may be like, no, we need Comcast to drop us so that our fans get so mad at Comcast that they call and complain, or they come to us in droves with their $20. They can't throw their $20 at us hard enough. Mm-hmm. Realistically, I don't think either of those will happen in the amount that they need. So what that means is when Jed is, or whoever succeeds Jed, if this team continues to flop,
Carter,
when they come out of their little meeting with Tom with their player budget for next year, it's going to be less. It's not going to be more. Well, we don't have that big TV money coming. Oh, are we running out of money? No, we just don't have it, and we don't want to. So somebody's got to make up for it. And it's going to be you. Because it could be really good if the Cubs were run the way we think they should be run. Having them be more dependent on direct subscribers to Marquee would be good, right? Because that would be an incentive for them to have a competitive team. Because if the team sucks, everybody's like, well, I don't need to pay. I'm not paying this anymore. I'll see you in April. Try it again next year.
But the other issue though is that the folks out in Iowa who aren't blacked out, well, maybe in Iowa they are.
You're talking about Iowa getting blacked out? That's blackout hell over there.
Yeah. But like in Nebraska, I guess, or wherever, right? Like if you want to watch the Cubs, then you're still buying MLB TV.
Yep. You're not going to be affected by that.
Yeah. Right. So I wonder if there's a way for the Cubs to force more blackout spots for them. If they're like, oh no,
we'd like to renegotiate. Hey Rob, we'd like to renegotiate our blackouts.
Yeah.
We'd like to be blacked out everywhere.
Yeah.
Except for Papua New Guinea. That's one place. Let them watch it.
As if
a lot of fans there.
As if the rest of the league's fans couldn't hate the Cubs enough already.
Yeah, nobody could watch them. You got to pay $10.
Oh my god!
Yeah, because right now this may have changed in the last month when somebody handed Crane the contract and went, "Oh shit!" The Cubs were very supportive publicly of a blackout-free package.
Yeah,
right.
Because of that, because they look at it as a way to get into parts that currently are blacked out, that they can get more, that they feel like they can get more fans, they can bring more fans out of. And I think they felt like it didn't matter if they weren't blacked out. Who cares? We have our own network. People are going to come watch us. It's going to be great. Where now I think they're like, oh shit, this is like a workaround then for people who live in the area who don't want to pay us directly. They want to pay us indirectly through MLB.TV or MLB Extra Innings.
Why? I mean, I guess there's a bit of merchandising and stuff like that, but just from watching the games on MLB TV, I mean, that doesn't really get the Cubs any extra revenue. If all of a sudden they pick up an extra 10,000 fans in Oregon.
Well, no, but they're not blacked out in Oregon.
No, but that's what I mean. Like if they
there's the Cubs, the bigger fan bases like the Yankees and the Cubs and the Red Sox. There are still weird little pockets where their fans do get blacked out and they can't get to somehow.
But what difference does it make?
And that would take that away, and they didn't feel like it was going to cost them any revenue, so they didn't care. Well, now they're going to come to the realization that, oh, that really might make it. They'll look at it and say, oh shit, there's people locally now who we've made it way too easy for them to get us without paying us $20 a month.
As much as,
and it could just be that they're morons, and they didn't, and that's why they've supported it.
I don't know if you would know the answer to this, Andy, but like, are there pockets of people blacked out from watching like the Cubs or White Sox like outside of the Chicago metro area like that? Or,
I guess obviously it depends Iowa now. Too. I don't know how much. Maybe Marquee going over the top took care of everybody.
I gotcha.
If it did, then they don't have to worry about it anymore, and then they would have already changed their stance and not wanted to be. They would rather you just get Marquee. Look at all the great stuff you're going to get. You don't need MLB.TV. You need Marquee. That's what you need. I'd have to look into that because I know when it first happened, it was so poorly explained that I thought they had only gotten the out-of-market rights to sell Marquee directly, and I remember thinking that's worthless.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. They had the in-market rights, which is worth something because those are people who, if you have, if you're one of the people who still says Dish Network,
right,
you can't get Marquee,
right.
But now you could just get Marquee from the Cubs, and Crane said that literally 50% of people who watch or people who get Marquee, not watch, get is the more apt term, get it from Comcast.
Yeah, I believe it. Okay.
So this is a huge. If Comcast drops them, it's a huge cut. And I'm sure they've been sitting around laughing at the Cardinals are supposed to get $75 million a year from their regional thing, and then Bally's went bankrupt and can't make all their payments. Mm-hmm. And it's hilarious because the Cardinals and they're screwed. We like that. Yeah, they signed I think got the very last huge. They got this ridiculous 30-year $1 billion. It was astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already come to the reality that they're never going to get most of that. It's just never going to happen. Even if Diamond limps out of bankruptcy, they're not going to get the money they were promised.
So,
Cubs are supposed to be immune to that because they own their own network. Right. And I realized they're not.
Well,
it's just a different way you get screwed.
they started their network too late. Like they
Yes,
started their
they
network
did.
after. Oh, streaming's happening. Let's start a network.
They had a couple of options that they either didn't want to attempt it or they didn't think of it. I don't know. I really think that they could have, about the time they started making noise, they were going to leave their break away from their quarter ownership of Comcast Sportsnet.
Yeah.
Right.
NBC Sports Chicago, whatever it's called. They were at the height of their popularity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have Bigfooted their way to a bigger stake in that and basically said, if you want us to stay, this 25% shit isn't working for us anymore. We're half your viewers. We need 51% of this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to run, they didn't have any expense. They didn't have to run their own channel. They didn't have to get it redistributed. They didn't have to do anything. They just get more money. I also thought they missed the boat when they were looking to start their own network, that they didn't just buy their way out of the Comcast thing and just do it immediately. They limped along. Remember, then so that they had the games that weren't on Comcast. They had gotten off the superstation, so now they had to go do Local 9 and Channel 7.
ABC, exactly.
At some point, that's when you just go to the other three teams and go, all right, here's a check.
Yeah.
We're starting our own network on March 1st next year. Go get them.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. They waited. They limped along.
Yeah. Remember, too, that I think it was like when opening day was finally officially announced after COVID, and Marquee still was not part of Comcast's cable package yet.
Yeah.
Like,
it was right.
It's just very, very so appropriate for like this sort of problem to pop up with Marquee.
Yeah.
I think it was on DirecTV. They weren't ready at launch. Like, it didn't work. Like, they were supposed to have their carriage thing, and it was a preseason game, it was pre-quarantine, and it was like the first exhibition Cactus League game, and here it is, and we're ready to go. And DirecTV people all over the country went to the and they just got this big black screen.
Why? How? That's incompetence. Like, how does that? One, how do you not test it? But two, how does it, like? It can't be like once you kind of sign that contract. Like, I'm sure that
they were on with like an hour.
Okay,
but they weren't ready because they had I remember on at least my Comcast I could watch them and there was like a countdown on the channel. I had it on while I was doing other stuff.
Oh yeah.
And my friend who lives across the backyard from me, she was texting me she's like, she's like, can you see Marquee is? So I can't even find. There's like no channel. It's not on the guide. I know what the number's supposed to be. I can't get it to work. And I'm like, well, it's working for me. And they weren't ready. And really what that should have been was just the first sign of how poorly run this network is, which it is. It's an embarrassment.
Ever since then, Crane insists instead of a check on getting a money order.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Just PayPal me the...
Yeah.
Do you have PayPal? Just PayPal.
Whoa.
I do Venmo, but the fees are too high. So don't Venmo me. But anyway, we don't have to worry about that till September. And the way they're playing, it won't matter. Nobody will miss them.
They may not be playing meaningful
We're
baseball.
too busy watching Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze and DJ Moore. We don't give a shit that the Cubs are. Oh, I can't watch the game. Oh, they're down 6-0 in the second. Oh, that's too bad.
Speaking down 6-0.
Now you guys both listen to more games on the radio, right?
Yeah, I listen to games there. Yeah,
just for a function of my work, because for those who don't know, I'm a Uber and Lyft driver, so I'm in my car a lot. So
okay, I'm going to ask you this question. I should have asked you this before. I should have looked this up before. But is Spiegel out on Cub baseball, and there's a new guy?
I heard him. Ryan Porth or something like that was the guy subbing in for.
So the way
Zach
I think
Bateman?
it worked was on Saturday night during the rain delay, Pat said, fuck it, and went home.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
I believe he did. And so Zach was going to do the game. So this other guy apparently was doing like the pre. And the only reason I was listening, and this is another thing that pissed me off. So, I forget what other game we got, but Phillies and something, I think. While there was rain. And then I saw on the thing that the Cub game was going to resume at like 9:35 or whatever. Yeah. And it wasn't on, because I'm in Rockford, it wasn't on Rockford Fox. It was only in Chicago and Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
So I just said, fuck it. I'm playing video games and listening to, I'm like, oh, I'll listen to Pat. And I got Zach. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. What I didn't know, and I didn't know because the Cubs could have made it obvious by like tweeting it or putting it on their stupid app or putting it on whatever else. It was on FS2 throughout the entire country.
Was that right?
Yeah. So like in Chicago, you could watch it on Channel 32, but everybody else could watch it on FS2. Because the other Fox affiliates were like, we just showed a fucking baseball game. We got other stuff to show. We don't need to sit around for a second one.
Yeah, we got.
I didn't know that.
Colin Cowherd reruns to
but
show.
That's how I heard. I heard Zach talking to this other guy, and the reason I asked this question is Spiegel within like the last like couple of weeks is just hammering the Cubs.
Yeah,
is that right?
Finally, he's just both barrels are out. He finally was talking about with complete inhibition about how worthless Nick Madrigal was, how they had to get Hap going, how they had to all this other stuff. Hap's got to hit, or otherwise, why is he batting where he's batting? And I'm like, wow, this is great. And then but maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe this dude was just filling in.
Yeah,
I got the feeling that they told Spiegel, we don't need you doing Cub games anymore. And he's like, okay, well, fine, fuck you. I'm just going to use my afternoon show now to really let you have it. I don't know.
But what's it called? Why would Spiegel have been there in the first place if Zach was the backup?
Spiegel is
to
Zach's
be
back.
the.
Right, I get it.
To be the third man in the booth when Zach has to do play-by-play.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean. Why on a night when Zach wasn't originally supposed to do play-by-play?
Right.
Why would Zach have been there?
Be there?
Oh, you're probably right. There's probably some other guy who had to fill in for Zach,
right?
So Zach could rest his voice. He's not, we can't have him doing the pregame. What if he gets hoarse?
Well, we'll find out.
Get
if
some
we,
tea for
we'll
Zach.
have
to, we gotta save those vocal cords. No nodules on Zach.
Right. Well,
yeah, you're probably right.
Have
so
to
I just made all that shit up, I guess.
No, that's all right.
But anyway, Spiegel has been pissed at the Cubs, which I've enjoyed.
He has.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for anybody shitting on Madrigal and Hap and.
Yeah, none of it was terribly controversial.
Yeah, right.
It's all stupid.
Yeah.
But it was to a degree that I wasn't used to from him.
Yeah. The vitriol.
It's not like he wouldn't make fun of Ben Parkins had been done with Madrigal for a while, but he was basically like, let's throw the little toddler under a bus. We'll just get rid of him.
Good times. All right. Fair enough.
So,
any ideas how to fix this? Any ideas how to fix the Cubs?
Well, yeah. The Jed announced yesterday Cubs are not going to be sellers.
Right.
The deadline. Oh, we're buying.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Actually, he didn't say that. He said they're not selling. He didn't say they're buying. He said they're selling.
Yeah.
So all like the national Bigfoot guys have been busy talking about all the players the Cubs could go get, and it's all the usual suspects. It's like, they get Pete Alonso.
Right.
And maybe the Blue Jays will make Vlad and Bo Bichette available, and they get both of them. And maybe they get Danny Jansen. He could be the catcher, and they can tick off this stuff. And I'm like, they're gonna. Yes, they're not gonna sell. They're gonna make a trade for.
I like that Diaz.
They're gonna get Danny Mendick from the White Sox. They really like him
because they need a second Nick Madrigal.
Yeah, he's basically.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Oleg.
Yeah.
I feel like because everything is so mediocre in the National League, and I mean the American League's got a couple of really good teams and everything. They're kind of bunched up, just not to this mediocre extent that the National League is. There's going to be way too much competition for relievers. I don't think there's going to be enough teams selling.
Yeah,
relievers.
I mean, you're right. That's the two unintended or maybe intended, probably intended consequences of the extra playoff team is fewer teams have the balls to sell.
Yep.
Because they're going to piss their fans off. And they know, even the ones who know, they're like, we're not really in this, but we better.
Mm-hmm.
And then the motivation to buy is less.
Yeah.
Because the teams that are on the periphery are like, we're probably good enough like this. What do we need to trade a prospect and add salary? We'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, the other side of it also is that even if you're within shouting, even if you decide that you want to play good baseball in September because you want people to keep coming to the ballpark, because if you bottom out, nobody's going to come and that's it.
Right.
But you want people to come to the ballpark. What's the point of selling anyone? What's the point of trading away anyone even remotely good?
Yeah, the only way you could sell would be if you're the White Sox.
Yeah.
If you're 15-46, it's like, who are we fooling?
Yeah, nobody's coming.
Or if you're far enough out of it that your fans have basically lost interest and you've got like a couple of prospects that people are excited about, you're going to call up.
Yeah.
And you're going to try to get a little bit of a bump at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look at this. You know, even if all it is momentum into the offseason, it's probably not going to – I mean, how many people are going to – well, they called that guy up. I'm going to go to the park today.
Yeah.
Right.
A few, but you're mostly going to get people then who are like, well, shit. Maybe there is a future here.
But yeah, it's kind of like the Pirates aren't that good, but I don't think that they're going to sell per se. Maybe Colin Holderman or somebody like that. But like those fans will still sort of come, at least at the same.
Yeah, they're excited enough about Skeens and Jones that they're coming. Yeah.
Yep. At least to those two starts.
Yeah. Yeah, there was even, I think it was either Rosenthal or Jeff Passan was like, ooh, Pirates have a tough decision. Do they sell Connor Joe?
Oh my, Connor Joe, really?
And I'm like, okay, yeah, Connor's been pretty good, but are they agonizing over whether or not they keep Connor Joe or not?
I don't. 3 more years of control, Andy. 3 more years. I like how Pat. I think Pat still calls him Joe Connor once in a while.
Does he?
Well,
he always likes to make the little name joke.
Yeah,
like I think I know.
There's a comma there.
I think I know more guys named Joe Connor than Connor Joe. Something like that, yeah.
I mean,
it's funny how Pat is, well, not to everybody. We've got friends who don't like Pat, but most people, his jokes are terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, but
to the point where they have Zach selling it as hard as possible in the
they're
booth.
good natured.
But nobody cares.
Yeah.
He's Pat.
No.
It's all part of the
That's
thing.
What he does.
They're good-natured jokes. They're fine. I do.
Yeah, they're groaners. They're all like, oh,
right.
yeah, okay, Pat, good job. Very clever.
I do
but nobody cares.
His banter with Ron is kind of fun. Like I like if I'm driving back from Arlington Heights and I'm listening to the ball game like my parents' house or whatever. Like it's fun to listen.
I had one of my readers who's like, he's like, I could tell those two hate each other.
What?
And I was like, what?
Pat
and Ron?
No,
like,
no shot.
A, they don't hate anybody, much less each other. But B, how could you get that from the way they just yuck it up? And if you ever wondered if they liked each other or not, the night that Pat got the call to the Hall of Fame, Coomer showed up at his house for the announcement and had to sit next to Crane. Nobody wants to spend any time with Crane, and Coomer did just to be with Pat.
Why the fuck did Crane show up?
Yeah, there's a lot of Crane tonight. God. You know who'd really like this? Kevin Warren. He loves Crane talk.
Kevin's texting you.
He's writing us all down for Hard Knocks.
It's only 8 Cranes in Chicago.
Yeah,
we gotta, that's how you can tell a city that's buzzing. And there are probably none in Des Moines.
There's no Cranes.
Exactly.
Right.
No,
but it's buzzing anyway.
Yeah,
is with Cranes.
What was the point of that graphic? Like there's all this building or all this.
Yes, basically. Kevin's very strange. He said at that ponderous press conference about his pipe dream of a stadium at the museum campus. You could tell a city is thriving when it has a lot of cranes in the air because they're building. And so he literally had he had a slide prepared that showed that Chicago only had 8 cranes going, but all these other cities had like 20 and 25, and it's like Saskatchewan, there were like 12 or some ridiculous. There's just like one like out, and it's like, what? It's like, are those the birds? What cranes do they have up there?
Why? I think I get what he's getting at, but there's so much context missing from that.
Well, he didn't want context.
Yeah, he
just wanted, going for the cheap, easy point to make, and hopefully nobody would question it. And then everybody made fun of it, and so it didn't work.
Oh, man. All right. What's Hard Knocks on, Max?
HBO and Max, I believe.
HBO, Max, yeah.
Yeah.
When is Hard Knocks on?
I thought for a second you were going to grab a dog out of there.
He said, what?
Yeah,
so
Hard Knocks.
For the 2 people who had actually seen me, I was just handed food.
Yeah.
while I was in the middle of a sentence.
What is it on HBO?
It's on HBO, and there are 2 Hard Knocks this summer.
Right. I heard you.
Right, the Giants have like the off-season Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
which is only going to be like a month.
Okay.
And then the Bears have the traditional Hard Knocks. Then somebody's going to get the in-season one. Hard Knocks is its own, like you can't stop it.
Well, they just kind of go from off season to like preseason to
Pretty much, yeah.
season?
Like the regular season one doesn't start until like week 10.
Oh,
Right.
They do like the back half of the season.
Interesting.
And that's actually a pretty good show. And the Flus was on the first one ever because it was the Colts, and he was the defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Oh,
And he said that because of that, he had a great experience. He said,
okay.
I watched it. I think he was on camera for about 11 seconds.
Okay.
He had a great experience.
Well,
Probably because he was only on for 11 seconds.
so the one thing that I never heard you kind of theorize about, and I don't think I have, maybe you haven't, I just got, why are the Bears so resistant? Why do the McCaskies not?
Well, I think it was because they knew. I think it was a strange case of self-awareness. They knew they
only
would look
time they've
dumb.
ever been self-aware. Yeah.
Like they didn't have a real front office for
Yeah. Okay.
ever. They
Sure.
couldn't even get their shit together. I think George was just afraid that they would just prove to the world beyond a doubt, although we all knew
Yeah.
that they don't know how to run a football team. And I think they feel like now with Kevin Warren and Ryan, actually, I think for George knows he'll be very little of this.
Yeah.
You probably going to see George. Actually, I know how you're going to see George. We talked about it, but I know how you're going to see George. You're going to see George. Actually, when the
Little
story
League
came out, the feature, George is going to be, you're going to see like the Camry pull up at some little league park. George is going to get out in full uniform, full umpire uniform and be the folksy, hey, the chairman and CEO of the Bears is umpiring Little League games in Sycamore. Look at this guy. And then you won't have to worry about it again. Because Kevin Warren is going to be like throwing himself in front of any camera that he possibly sees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So George, I think, is finally like, fine. You can finally make us do it because I'm not going to have to be troubled. I'm not going to make me look like a boob. I can let Kevin make himself look like a boob instead.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But it still seems like that's a lot of publicity or a lot of like I don't understand with the Cowboy, like Jerry Jones is.
Jerry will do it whenever.
Yeah.
Like he's the break glass in case no one will take it. The Cowboys will do it. They've done it at least 3 times, maybe 4.
Yeah,
what does it get? What does that give the team? Like, do they sell more? Like, what's the business reason?
I think Jerry just likes it because he's on it so much.
Yeah, because he's on it. So yeah,
he just thinks it's fun. Look at me. I'm on TV again.
Yeah. You made that like I've never this is where I've never seen a Hard Knocks. Like I've never seen an episode.
Oh, it's a good show.
I actually haven't either, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like
I'm too cheap to get.
I think I've seen them all. I think I've seen every episode of the show.
Does Max have them all?
For 24 years.
Does Max have them so you can stream them all?
I don't know if you can go all. He should be able to. He should be able to go all the way back to the 2001 Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
I know I still remember the very first shot because I talked about it in the Laxus podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Billick in a hammock reading Rick Pitino's book on leadership.
Yep.
The most ridiculous start. And it's just perfect because Billick was just the biggest prick for that entire show.
For a while.
That one is a classic. There's this great scene where for the rookie show, that's one of the things they always show the rookie show. And there is a player who does a perfect Shannon Sharp impression.
Okay.
Nice.
And it cracks all the players lose it because it's completely spot on. He says ridiculous things. He's got the weird, huge jaw and he's spitting out of it. And that was, and then whatever year Todd Heap was on it, his girlfriend or wife was so hot that people were like, whoa, what time is Hard Knocks on?
Right. Must see TV.
It became a whole euphemism.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Extremely Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks.
I don't know if I knew this and forgot, but somebody when the Cubs were playing the Brewers reminded me that Christian Yelich's mom
Oh, yeah.
is super hot.
Oh, yeah.
Super hot. She's a real estate agent in Beverly Hills.
Oh. Hmm.
And she's probably our age. Like,
Yeah. No. I mean, like
we've aged into where the moms are not. There's like
this was like probably 5 years ago. I realized this. Like,
when you watch the draft now,
God,
we're older than all the moms.
Who was the there was a Cubs pick, or I don't remember. Somebody's like, there was a picture of that's a terrible story. All right, I got to listen.
Well, if it's something with the Cubs and a parent, Taylor McGregor will let us know.
Oh, she wouldn't interview. I guarantee if Christian Yelich got traded to the Cubs, Taylor would not interview the mom. She'd make Elise do it.
Really?
There's no way she wants to be on camera at the same time as Christian Yelich's mom.
True.
She's like, you know, Elise, you take this one.
Yeah, can't steal the spotlight.
No. I do not want the side-by-side comparison. All right. Well, that was fun. That was all of it. We talked about baseball for like a couple of 3 minutes.
There's nothing to. I thought of this the other day. Yesterday, in fact, watching the Cubs like go down 5-0. Like, this team's not fun.
No.
Like, if Morel was hitting, they'd be fun.
Yep.
They're just not fun to watch. Like, they're like it just. I just kept getting angry over and over again. And I'm like, I just turned it off, and then eventually, like, kind of paid attention loosely.
They've built a team that, with a few exceptions, is mostly just a bunch of dull white dudes.
Yeah.
Ian Happ,
there's very little like charisma on the team. Even if they were winning, it would be fun to watch just because they're winning. But there wouldn't be. I don't feel like you can like engage with this team.
Correct. No,
because there's very little personality on it, and then the personality you do get is like Shota is all personality. Yeah. Then we've got the translator in between, and then
kind of have it with a Morel,
who doesn't do much very many. And I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying that there's an extra barrier to the guys you actually do really like. And even say it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly like I was about to say that. Like Shota and Morel, I actually don't know if Morel speaks English or not. Now that I think about it, but like Shota doesn't speak English. So like the one guy who's got any personality, doesn't speak English. Like Bellinger's dull. Like just
Cody
not.
Can be kind of funny sometimes, but like
he's just
I remember
reserved.
after he crashed into the wall, saying like someone should check and see on the wall too.
Oh yeah. Like Chris Bryant was quiet, but at least those Cubs had Rizzo, who was kind of outgoing. Hayward was kind of outgoing,
and Schwarber, and
like they were. like,
there was, and even a guy as grumpy as like John Lester, was awesome and would say really funny shit.
Yeah. Arrieta was outgoing.
Yeah.
Like
just don't
this team.
John Lackey said some funny shit. Yeah.
I come here for a haircut. Nobody has any idea what that means.
Right.
I come here for a haircut. What does that mean?
Oh shit! I've got my haircut.
It's been 8 years, and we still don't know what he meant.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like there's nobody. This isn't.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't know if you.
Calling story.
I only saw a clip. I didn't even know he did it, but I saw a clip. Shota was on Pat McAfee.
Okay.
Oh really?
And McAfee did. It was really annoying me. McAfee was only talking to the translator.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you realize you're not asking the question to the translator, Pat. You're asking it to the player, and the translator is going to tell him what it was. And so Pat spent the whole time looking at the translator to ask his question, and then staring at the translator for the answer. And he must have looked at Shota for like 11 seconds of like a 10-minute interview. It's like, all right.
I kind of don't understand why he's that popular. Like, I mean,
there's no reason for him to be as popular as he is.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are certain things on that show that are funny or whatever, but he's like, you think he was just the most fascinating person ever. And it's like,
just have Ryan Poles on every day. Everyone will.
Well, I gotta search out those clips now, like, because I keep forgetting every time you mention them. I gotta search them out because I never watch McAfee either, or hear him, or I don't even know how to find him. But like now I kind of want to search out the Poles ones because I do. Ryan Poles is engaging and he's reputable.
The thing I like about Poles is he actually says shit.
Yeah,
like, he's not afraid to actually like comment on why they signed a player, or he'll indirectly answer a question as to would you've taken this guy, and you can figure out pretty easily if they were gonna or not if they'd been available. It's just that most GMs act like. Remember, the Bears have taken football coaches in general do this. But the Bears have had coaches that are so paranoid. Like, nobody will ever be more paranoid than John Fox. But, but even Nagy, there was a time when Patrick Scales had hurt his back.
Right.
And Nagy got asked in a Thursday press conference if Scales was going to be able to play. And Nagy wouldn't say because he didn't want the other team to know which long snapper they were going to have. It's like, I guarantee you, Matt, they don't give a shit. Just
no, not
tell
at
the
all.
guy. Oh no, we can't divulge that. It's like, what? Really? Who the long snapper is going to be? That's a trade secret.
Like even Davidson is kind of cool. The Blackhawks GM, right? Like he's pretty personal, like that. You know,
yeah, with the whole thing in Nashville.
Fun, but like otherwise, like he's personable and Bulls. Like Judd Hoyer's dull as shit. Like even Theo was fun. Like Theo would get drunk and say stupid shit. But like, but Judd is like just milquetoast and.
Well, it's funny. Theo was really good. But Theo, and I didn't pick up on this until someone told me. And if you watch, you could. Theo was an introvert and was not comfortable doing that stuff, but he was still good at it because he was Theo.
Yeah,
it was one of those things like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be good at it.
Okay,
but he was never really comfortable.
Interesting.
Doing it.
Yeah,
Jed is perfectly comfortable. Like, he loves to talk, but he's figured out how to never say shit.
Yeah,
when he talks. But like, he doesn't mind. Here was a good window into how things are going with the team. So Jed was in the booth last night.
Okay.
And it was a quick 1-2-3 inning, and they always keep him.
Yeah.
Hey, can you stick around for one more? Boog was immediately like, well, I guess that's the shortest visit ever. Talk to you next time. Because he knew Jed didn't want to. Jed just wanted to get the fuck out of there. It's like, I guarantee you, if they would won 8 out of 11 instead of lost 8 out of 11, he'd have done 3 innings with him. He wouldn't have cared. He'd be asking them, can I stick around? Can I do another inning? Fine.
Oh man, I don't know. This team is just it's just boring. There's like nothing. Like it was like I mentioned when 2 weeks ago when Donahue was on. Like as I said to him, like it feels bad to keep turning it. It doesn't feel bad, but it feels all boring to just keep turning it into a shit on Madrigal podcast.
Yeah.
So there's not like.
What else is there really to do? Yeah.
Yeah, there were two things to talk about for the longest time. It was, why does Ian Happ suck?
Yeah. And why
will he ever be any good again?
Yeah.
And why is Nick Madrigal on the team?
Yeah.
And Happ, for at least we know how he is.
Right.
It'll be back. But right now, you can leave him alone. And Madrigal's gone.
Yeah.
And all that does now is it focuses on everybody else. Like, hey, Dansby.
Right.
Are you ever going to get another hit?
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice if he did that, maybe.
He was good. Was it yesterday or 2 days or 3 days ago that he hit the 2-run home run?
That was Saturday, the crazy rain delay game that went late. Yeah.
So that was pretty good. But the other bad thing is that, Shota's had a couple of bad outings. Steele has been bad for about, Steele's been all right.
Steele's kind of settled in.
One good outing. He had a couple of bad ones, 3 bad ones, 1 good one. So it's like even the good, what you want to talk about is, man.
Yeah, like right now, what do they have that they can actually rely on?
Yeah, FYA.
Correct.
Swanson just got a base hit.
Saw that. While we were talking about him, he's like, fuck you guys.
That was me giving the fist bump for that right there. But
when you did that, I looked over.
And Bote's in the game because Nico got thrown out for arguing on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah. if you look
that'll key the comeback. People are listening to this now. It's like, you guys don't have to talk about the game you're watching because we're not listening in real time. But still, they will laugh knowing that the Cubs were down 5-1 in the 5th on Wednesday and won, 12-5.
Yes.
With the 2 Bote grand slams and then probably a 3-run home in his other event.
Bote gets 11 RBI after the whatever. All right.
All right, but I'm sure in 2 weeks when we do this again,
they're
going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All kinds of cool shit will happen.
I am pleasant. Like I'm hopeful about Seiya. I'm hopeful about Seiya.
I would say that too. I'm hopeful about Cody Bellinger has bounced back pretty well. I think Seiya has made some nice hard contact that has been hitting outs that he will have better luck on as the season goes on. But
yeah.
All right, here's a joke I can only do an hour and 16 minutes into the podcast.
Oh boy.
Are you guys worried about Seiya's defense? I wonder how well he can see because he squints a lot.
Oh God.
God.
No. Although, are you worried about his defense? Because He's getting good at dropping fly balls.
I'm not. I just it's
somebody pointed out, the one he dropped the other night when it was raining.
Yeah.
It's like you go out and try to catch a ball.
That's a good point.
Look straight up into the sky with it raining, and you see how well you do.
But I'm not a professional outfielder. Like I would drop a fly ball.
I probably would have caught that 99 out of 100. It just happened to be the one
and that's
time.
The thing. And that's the
maybe.
And it did make for an amazing moment when he hit the grand slam.
Yeah,
like,
that is true.
Like I think I was in bed. Like I don't remember where I was watching it. I'm pretty sure I was in bed. I literally just almost I jumped out. Like it was like holy shit. That was
and then the bat slam too to go with it, which was cool.
Well, that's what I mean. The grand slam. Like when the grand slam happened, I'm like,
I mean the literal the grand slam, and then he took the bat and he literally just slammed the bat on the way to first base. That was really cool.
Like he's just he just seems really like I'm not going to take any say of criticism. Like no, like that guy.
He is the kind of guy.
He's probably my favorite of their players.
Yeah. I would say so too for myself. Like he is the kind of guy that those moments like slamming the bat after the grand slam, that when he is going really well at the plate, like the rest of the guys on the team kind of feed off that too. Like a little hobbiness kind of. Although not the same like base running prowess, but and
it's another kind of window into how they're playing lately. That their two biggest home runs of the last week were guys atoning for errors that had cost multiple runs. That was Seiya's grand slam and then Morel hitting the 2-run homer last night after he kicked the ball down to third baseline. So
I think the one thing that I do want to bring up is I do think that we need to start planning on how to do this podcast from Japan next March.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll get. You got a passport? You probably have a passport.
Of course I have a passport. I'm going to Sri Lanka in October.
Oh, wow.
Well, let's do it from there then.
From Sri Lanka,
we're going
to have to have you on the podcast during the playoffs. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be kind of fun. It would be pretty awesome. All right,
All right.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Many of us have herpes.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
It's fitting. It's got to be done with one of the best games of all time. Just unbelievable. Got to congratulate the Dolan family.